Hey everybody, it's Mr. Carr again. Today we're going to be starting up with our Unit 12 now. Unit 12 is talking about solids, so three-dimensional objects versus just the two-dimensional stuff that we just finished. So we're looking at today surface area of prisms and cylinders. So when we look at this here, surface area of a prism, surface area of a right prism is the sum of twice the area of the base and the product of the perimeter of the base and the height. All right. First things first. Notice how this capital B is for the base. I want to define that real fast. When we talk about the base of a three-dimensional object, it is going to be the congruent and parallel polygons. So for example, here you see that that's a triangle and triangle, okay? They're congruent and they're parallel to each other. Okay, so that's what creates our prism, our base here. Height, just like before, is a perpendicular height. Okay, so in this case, it's the perpendicular height between the two bases. So if I try to summarize this description here into a formula, I would do this. Surface area is equal to the, 2 times area of the base. So I'm going to use just capital B with a lowercase a there, like the B of A there, plus the perimeter of the base times the height. Okay, that's the, that's the kind of the summary of what this is described in here. So this is for any right prism. And again, this perimeter of the base is referring to the same base as this. So whatever your repeated polygons are, that's your perimeter that you're doing. Height is the distance between these two. So that's why it's this height right here. It's also, well, there's that again. It's also the perpendicular height. So make sure you're paying close attention to that. So when we look at this one, for example, okay, one of the things I like to do is I like to label my base is blank. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to find area of the base, perimeter of the base, and the height. I want to label all of these individually so then I could just put it together into this one formula right here. So when I look at this, common thing that people think is, oh, the base is on the bottom. So it's got to be this one down here. Problem is, based on my definition right here, a base has to have a congruent and parallel polygon across from it. I don't have that here. So my base is actually these two triangles. That's what we need to go. So our triangle is our base. So that's what the shape is. So that means the area of the base, we're going to use our formulas from last unit. So I'm going to do 1/2 the base times the height. Now thankfully,
please call 55.
Okay, now we're back. So it's 1/2 base times height. Now remember, this is a different base and height because we're talking about the triangle. From before, these have to be perpendicular. So that's why I can use 6 and 8 here. So 1/2 of 6 times 8 is going to give me 24. For perimeter of the base is referring again to the triangle base. So I need to find the distance all the way around. So I've got these two, but I need to find that last side there. So I will use some Pythagorean theorem. So x squared is equal to 6 squared plus 8 squared. So x squared equals 36 plus 64. X squared equals 100. Square root that, and I get 10. So now I can do my perimeter of my base. It's going to be 6 plus 8 plus 10 gives me, again, 24. The height is that distance between the two bases. So that's this one right here. It's 1. All right. So that means I'm going to use that I have all my numbers I need. I have surface area is going to be 2 times the 24. So that's the area of the base, plus the perimeter of the base, 24, times the height of 20. That's all. Once I found each of these individually, I think it's really easy to do that first, then start plugging stuff into your formula. So now I just need to multiply through and simplify. So that's going to be 48. This is going to be 480. Add those together, and I get 528. And this was inches, so my surface area is square inches. All right, that's it. Now, the other thing we might have to do, sometimes depending on the problem, I'll have you work backwards. So I'll give you surface area, give you like area of the base, but then you have to find something like that. Surface area of a right cylinder is actually the same thing. Surface area of a right cylinder is the sum of twice the area of the base and the product of the perimeter of the base times the height. Well, we can just be a little bit more specific because it's a circle. That's the only thing. It's kind of hard to see on this image, but my area of my base is a little different because it's a circle. It's pi r squared. My circumference is another name for perimeter. So that's 2 pi r. So this is a formula I can use. But if I replace the area of the base, I can do it like this, where it's 2 times pi r squared instead, because that's what this is. Perimeter of the base, again, we said it was a circumference, so that's 2 pi r. That's what that represents, times h. So that means I can, excuse me. So that means I can use this modified formula if I want to instead. So for my next example here, find the surface area of this cylinder. Again, I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to say the base is a circle. So that means my area of the base is going to be pi times my radius squared. So in this case, that's 4. My perimeter of the base is the 2 times pi times 4. Height here is 5. So pi times 4 squared is going to give me 16 pi. 2 times 4 is 8 pi. So now I have everything I need to put into my formula. So surface area is equal to 2 times 16 pi. That's 2 times area of the base, plus the perimeter of the base, 8 pi, times the height, 5. So I get 32 pi plus 40 pi. Put those together and I get 72 pi. Now, if I wanted to, I can leave that as my exact answer. Pi in the answer makes it an exact answer. But most times we're doing with surface area, we want the approximate answer. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug in 72 times pi into my calculator, and I get an approximate answer of 226.195. Okay, and again, this was in meters. So that means this is technically, just right below, meters squared. And it looks, I don't like the way that looks. So let's just move that a little bit more. Meters squared. All right, and that is it for surface area of a prism and a cylinder. You see it's the same formula, but we just do some things a little differently with these because perimeter and area of the base of a circle are a little bit different than the normal perimeter and area of the bases that we might do otherwise. Okay, so it's important. One thing I only covered the triangle here. There's a lot of different ways to do a prism. So for example, here's a trapezoidal prism. So if you remember this formula here, for my area of the base, it's going to be 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So it's important that you use that stuff that we did in last unit. So I would suggest that you keep those notes and make sure you are not losing anything like that. All right, that is it for today. Reach out if you have any questions, but that's it for 12.1, day 1.